Few video games can stand up to the test of time. Whether it be due to graphics or gameplay, a lot of older games fall flat when compared to the bar that the medium sets with the latest titles. For every vibrant, splashy Wind Waker, you have your angular, clanky Tomb Raider. The did people actually enjoy playing this GoldenEye to the oh my gosh, there are 2 joysticks Halo. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare is one of those games that, despite its age, refuses to let the cracks show. This game is, holy shit! This game is 14 years old, and it came out at a time when online gaming was in its mainstream infancy. You had games like World of Warcraft that connected many people across the world, and Halo, which did wonders to help the video game market break into the general public. Modern Warfare was that next step. Instead of the nerds having a sausage fest in Johnny's basement, while the jocks were off at parties getting laid, everyone was in their own basements, queuing up another round of TDM just because they couldn't let XX Muffin Muncher XX get away with saying in a roundabout way that they are in fact their dad. Admittedly, I was a bit late to the party, with World at War being my very first Call of Duty, but don't worry, I still had my fair share of fatherly claims and language fresh from the sea received and given in turn. World at War was the last World War II Call of Duty for quite some time, but that setting is where the franchise creators Infinity Ward got its start on the PC. The original Call of Duty performed well, and the sequel even better, while being Infinity Ward's first foray into the world of console gaming. Call of Duty 1 and 2 set the groundwork for Modern Warfare, which in turn became the foundation of the series going forward. Call of Duty is known for its fast-paced multiplayer, but before that, the single-player campaign was the major selling point of the franchise. The series' tradition was to make high-octane battles that would really get your blood pumping. The original plan with Modern Warfare was actually the opposite of that red-blooded American gameplay, and was almost entirely condensed, stealthy, and free from large-scale battles. The team decided to scrap more than half of what they had so far due to it being too boring. The result is what we have today, a nice mixture of action-packed battles and more covert and tactical missions. Call of Duty 4 starts out with a banger of a tutorial that led into the first mission. This tutorial mission is genius. You get the basics of how to play, which is then followed up by a simulation of your first mission immediately following the training. From here and the subsequent mission where you infiltrate a cargo ship, you get to see what the SAS is all about. Get the job done and no bullshit. Upon completion, the next thing you see is the Coup. The player takes control of Al-Fulani, the president of Saudi Arabia. You are captured by the enemy and are forced into the back of a sedan. You travel through a war-torn city that shows the bad guys doing all manner of things, raiding shops, shooting in the air, and rounding up people and killing them. This all goes on until you reach your destination and meet Al-Assad, who executes you on live television. Now you've seen all of this, and it's only been like 20 minutes. Wow, what an opening! The tone of the game is set masterfully by these 2 missions, and as you continue through the campaign, it only goes up from here. Moving forward, you play another mission as the SAS, which starts out slow by you taking a sniper role, and picks up the pace near the end, which then leads into the first USMC mission. From here, the campaign goes back and forth between the SAS and the USMC, with each of their respective missions leading up to the end of Act 1. This game has some stunningly remarkable moments. At the conclusion of Act 1 is the mission Shock and Awe. From the start, this mission feels dire. The mission is very foreboding, starting right from the beginning. The debrief loading screen mentions that Al-Assad's forces may have a nuclear device, and that speed is a necessity. While flying in on the helicopter, the opening music even gives a sense of tension and urgency that is a bit unsettling. As the mission progresses, things look more grim. You are warned to fall back to the east as the threat of a nuke seems more likely. At that same time, another helicopter goes down, and your squad goes in to help. There is even a timer during this section, and while retrieving the survivor, you are continually cautioned about the nuke. Just as you are making your escape, you see the horrific cloud burst in the distance with you still in the blast zone. The devs also included a look into the aftermath of the destruction, and the sight is just as unsettling as you would imagine. The mission Death from Above puts players in an AC-130 gunship. At first glance, this mission is probably one of the most memorable for players because explosions and shit. It makes you feel like a real badass when you drop a 105mm round on a group of enemies and just watch in awe as their bodies fly all over the area. Speaking of the 105mm round, I got curious after the mission and I figured it'd be big, but oh boy, I don't think I was expecting this. Now, this isn't perfectly to scale, and I did my best, but it gets the job done. It basically shows the gist of it. Just one of these bad boys cost roughly $400, and I used 18 of them when I played the mission, and that adds up to roughly $7,200, and that's just the 105mm round. Figuring out approximately how much it would cost just to run this one mission was fun and all, but then the reality sets in. These costs come from real life and not from some fictitious video game. It only gets more disconcerting when you take that second glance at the mission and grasp just how close it is to the real thing. Between the radio chatter and the sound of the propellers, it's all too real. All Gillied Up is the final mission I wanted to explore, and I'm sure that if you know anything about this game, you saw this one coming from a mile away. The mission does a couple of things incredibly well, but I only wanted to touch on a few. Throughout the campaign while playing as Soap, you are a part of a team led by Captain Price. Price is full of wisdom, strategy, and determination, and in All Gillied Up, you take control of him 15 years prior while he was still a lieutenant, following his own leader, Captain McMillan. This gives you, the player, the perspective that the AI you've been following around all this time was once in your shoes, and that he has been through the same stuff as your own character. It does all of this while progressing the plot of the bad guy, Imran Zakhaev, who at this point you hardly know anything about. Not to mention the subtle foreshadowing to Modern Warfare 2 with Soap and Roach. Without the constraints of history that the previous Call of Duty games had, Infinity Ward has had a lot of room to show and tell what they wanted to. Being a completely fictitious story meant that they could do things like set off a nuke, as well as show the aftermath. The way that the story is told as well as the things that you do and see makes the game seem more like a playable action movie. That's just the campaign. As much as I think that this campaign is on another level compared to other shooters, the multiplayer is the real reason that this game made history. Truth be told, I never really played the original Modern Warfare back in the glory days. In fact, the first time I ever played it was on the PS3, when one of my brother's friends brought over his for them to play. Having previously played World at War on the 360, I was able to pick up Modern Warfare with ease and proceed to drop a 20 bomb to the amazement of my brother and his friend. No, that's not entirely true. I remember playing well, but who knows how good I actually did. Later on I would play the campaign, but that was the only time I ever played the multiplayer. Even still, I certainly know how much of an impact this game had on the shooter genre. Call of Duty 4 set the standard for all first-person shooters to come. It was one of the first, if not the first, shooter to introduce RPG elements into its multiplayer in the form of unlockables, perks, and kill streaks. The mechanics were, and still are, solid to the point that playing the newest Call of Duty in the series still feels like Call of Duty 4 at the core. The concepts found in the recent games in the franchise are almost all modified and expanded ideas found in Call of Duty 4. The low barrier to entry made it accessible to everyone. While not being a realistic military shooter like others at the time, Call of Duty gave players a sense of realism that other shooters couldn't match while still being a lot of fun. Even to this day, I still buy every new Call of Duty every November. Now admittedly, I may not play as much as I once did, but because of games like Call of Duty 4, the backbone is there, the gameplay mechanics are great, and it's still always a ton of fun to play every new release. Hey everyone, thank you for watching this video on Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. I really love the Call of Duty series and I plan to do more videos on them, the next one being Modern Warfare 2, which is a video I'm super pumped about. I'm still in the early development stages of that video, but I've got so many ideas for it, I just can't wait, so stay tuned for that one. Quick shout out to our Patreons, we appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you for giving us the drive and the motivation that we need to keep doing these videos. We make videos like this every single Friday, but on our Patreon, you can also see behind the scenes and how we made things. Specifically with this video, you can see the process I took to make the 105mm AC-130 round that you saw in the video. Thank you Patreons again, and thank you all for watching. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and as always, keep it rad.